Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
today's topic, girls need to be protected from themselves.
Woo! Isn't that true?
It's one of those things where this equality, and the younger the guy is, the harder it's been pushed on him.
Yeah.
And I'm older, and I thought it was pushed on, not pushed, but it was encouraged because women were getting into the workforce, and it was very. When I was in my teens and 20s, the equality thing, we hadn't seen the problems with it yet.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea when you're not like having lived with it for 4 decades.
Exactly. It was in like the first, second decade of this.
Yeah.
And girls didn't quite realize you really can't have a career and a family life. I mean, people pretty much know that now.
Right.
They go, if I'm going to have a career, the family life will suffer. And if I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, it's probably best if my career goes on hold for a while.
Right.
Because a lot of this kids are, young once. But when you get down to it, especially once you have enough girls in your life,
yeah,
and you've gone through enough women, they really need to be protected from themselves.
It's true.
And I think in like some of the stricter societies, like in the Middle East,
yeah,
they know that and stuck with it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
they
the part
didn't-
where you have to be with your brother or your father or your uncle
Very
or a family
smart.
member. They couldn't drive
Yeah.
until recently. There's always extremes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get any more egalitarian than it does in the U.S. And even so, here it has to be. You have to be conscious of it, and you have to protect them from themselves without telling anyone.
Exactly. Well, and I think your extreme version is a good one because it's there for a reason. No, it's a lot. It's very extreme for us, to consider because of where we live. We lived in the U.S., and what we were raised with. But at the same time, you certainly see the reason behind it.
Yes.
For the basics, of the basics of the understanding of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, if you know anything about just human nature, and then you see girls making decisions, you can see how bad they drive. You can see them getting lost in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can see them like quitting a job, and before they have another job. I mean, all kinds of I guess for lack of a better word, logical decisions.
Yeah.
They make an illogical decision.
Absolutely.
Because they're running on emotions.
Because girls operate under want to, and men operate under have to.
Exactly. And so, the sooner you grasp any girl coming into your life, and they prefer this,
Yeah.
you're going to have to run the show. You're going to have to take control. And I would say for girls that are not part of your family,
Yeah.
you have to be fucking them. They don't want to hear your opinion or your guidance or your support unless they're part of your rotation or your girlfriend.
Well, and I would say men shouldn't be wasting their time
Exactly.
on men that they're not on women.
Yeah.
Sorry, women that they're not fucking too. I mean,
Exactly.
why spend that kind of emotional energy on someone who's a buddy?
Exactly.
Or even
But
not.
it's still 90% of men.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, do you need some help? Do you need some support? I mean, I think it's hardwired.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You can still suppress that. There's some things in our nature that are hardwired that aren't necessarily the best thing for us.
Now, for you autists out there, we're not referring to you not helping in an emergency situation.
Yeah,
We're talking about girls who are trying to take advantage of you
Yes.
without giving up the pussy.
Yes, exactly. Hey, I'm short on rent, all this stuff. That's not your place.
Yeah. Or your problem.
No, exactly. But in general, a girl comes into your life and you are banging her to a certain extent, and wherever you want to decide, your limitations are.
Yeah.
It's best to pretty much just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you get all kinds of bad decisions.
You do.
And the more autonomy you give girls, the worse it goes. And that's like I tell these guys, especially younger guys, she broke up with you. It has nothing to do with you 99% of the time.
Right.
For lack of a better, she's curious. She wants to ride other dick.
Yeah.
Therefore, don't worry about it. It's just, girls make bad decisions all the time. They eat so many hot chips that they vomit. They smoke too much pot.
Yeah.
They drink until they're fat. You can look at a girl, you can go, what'd you eat today? And that gives you all the evidence you need to give them a typical, like, what a girl.
I'm laughing because today he kind of had to get on to me because he realized, because I did not eat my normal kind of schedule, and I felt like hell all day long. And he was like, well, you didn't eat, duh. Of course you don't feel well. But I mean, I would say, so I am completely guilty of this today as we're speaking. But I would say, like, the normal, routine for a girl as far as like her rando eating is literally like waking up, maybe either, I know more girls who start the day with soda than I ever thought possible. That's the last thing in the world that I would want first thing in the morning. But soda or coffee, then inevitably they will go through Starbucks. And make no mistake, they're not getting black coffee at Starbucks. They're getting essentially the equivalent of like 3 more Cokes, of sugar, only it's also loaded with fat and all kinds of other just shit and caffeine, and then they're snacking at the office, inevitably.
Candy dishes.
Yeah, candy dishes. Someone brings donuts. It's someone's birthday.
It's always the birthday.
It's always someone's birthday, even in the smallest of offices. They're snacking all day. They don't usually eat a real lunch, or they make some half-ass attempt and eat like 100-calorie lean cuisine, thinking they're doing something good for themselves, forgetting the fact that they've already eaten 60 grams of fat and, 200 grams of carbs and, 90 grams of sugar. I mean, like, already, and they think nothing of all of this stuff. They think they're eating healthy with their lean cuisine. That then, of course, they crash. They feel like hell for the rest of the day. They're exhausted. They maybe stop for something on the way home, or they meet their girlfriends for drinks, and, they say it's going to be dinner, but they don't ever eat anything real.
No, they have, like, bar food.
It's bar food. It's appetizers. It's, like, 6 or 7 drinks instead of like the 1 or 2 that would actually be at least on the healthier side of this. I mean, and then they get home and they raid the fridge. I mean, they'll ice cream at home, candy at home, chips and salsa. Like, we have a lot of girls who will eat like chips and salsas like their weakness at 11 p.m. I'm like,
and they actually like eat the whole bag.
Yeah. So it's, it's no wonder that, number one, girls get fat, but it's number 2, they genuinely, they don't know what feeling good actually feels like.
No.
They think that this is how you just feel, so they think nothing of how incredibly terrible they feel.
Yeah.
Girls make horrible, and I will add, on top of the nutrition, you can't operate like that and make good decisions.
Good point.
Your brain is not functioning. Your body's not functioning properly.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So you're making worse decisions because of the bad decisions you're making.
That's interesting. I mean, but it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, most girls are in such bad physical shape, and guys aren't much better, but they're more robust.
Yeah.
They can take more poison and lack of activity.
Very true.
And still function and make decent decisions. But at the end of the day, if you want a high quality girl, you're pretty much going to have to create her to a certain extent.
And she can't, I do believe to a certain extent they can be created.
Yeah. I mean, you can help her with nutrition, which she starts feeling better. You can help her with exercise, which will clear her head. And it gives her some structure to her life.
Yes.
Most girls have no routine whatsoever. And then you can go from there, because that gives you 2 things that like go a long way.
Yeah.
And just guys are surprised because they're only dealing with her outcomes and they don't really look at her input. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
man, she's dumb as fuck. You know, she went out with her girlfriends and she got fucking wasted and I don't know where she was for a day. You know,
Yeah.
stupid, horrible decisions. But she's smoking pot. I mean, all these things. If you want a girl that's quality or to stay quality or straighten her out, you have to pretty much take control.
Yeah.
99% of girls will go with it.
It's true.
That 1% that won't, you put them on the curb.
Yeah.
That's what they mean by, she's for the streets. Some girls prefer, they know, because they're damaged.
Yeah.
They prefer to be all fucked up. They prefer to be fuck ups. So they're going to push up against that. But if you give a girl some structure, and you got to be fucking her, this has to be like a girlfriend, somebody that you're invested in, she'll start following your lead.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like when guys are like, should I date a liberal girl who's got, some hippie ideas? It doesn't matter, because she'll start forming her ideas after yours.
Right.
Once she's riding your dick.
If you're strong enough.
Yeah.
You can't just kind of go along and get along.
Yeah.
And hope that she follows along with a man's,
lead.
Yeah. You have to actually be the leader of the relationship. And if you're curious as to whether the girl in front of you has her shit together or not, it's as simple as one question. Ask her what she's having for dinner tonight. If she knows, that's a good damn sign.
That's a very good sign. That's a very rare sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because most, unless they have kids, if they have kids, sometimes,
anymore, I don't.
Maryland's not buying it. I see a little bit more structure with girls that have children, but it's not a guarantee.
No.
So don't take, she has kids and she's responsible, because a lot of times grandma raises the kids while the girl goes out and acts the fool.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's what we wanted to convey today was, if you want a girl that makes good decisions, you're going to have to provide her with structure and guidance.
Perfect way to put it.
Sounds crazy, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, the highest quality girls go from their father's house to your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. That's for a reason.
Exactly. One control to the next.
Yeah.
And people push against that, but there's reasons. I mean, just like girls that live by themselves, it's just, none of this is a good idea.
Zero accountability.
Yeah. Bad decisions are made.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're living that way because they want to make bad decisions. You have to balance that.
1,000%.
You kind of have to feel it out with these girls. A lot of them are, what do you call, suspect?
Yeah.
Because they want to make bad decisions. They want to remain anonymous. They want to ride 100 cocks in a year. But that's not your problem. You ferret those out and you put them on the back burner, just keep them in the rotation. Nothing serious.
Exactly.
So that's the bottom line.
We want you to understand at their truest nature, how the majority of women are, the majority of girls are, so that way you can guide them, direct them, and set your lines in the sand as to where your boundaries are. Yeah.
Perfect.
Because at the end of it, we want you to win. If you like this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have great stories about how you have turned a girl who seemed to be a challenge on the front end around to following your lead, we would love to hear about it. So please comment leave that in the comments below. We want you to win. Bye!